the Global Defensive Initiative and the Brother of Nod. The conflict between these two factions have been started long time ago, I can still remember. It must be a year which started with a 19. Damn, I'm old. But the time is running and many things have changed. But one thing will never change. Cain lives in death. Do you remember the Firestorm conflict? Yeah? Cabal got beaten down from an unholy alliance between GDI and Nod. But this was long time ago. 11 years after the events of Firestorm, Tiberium is still growing on the planet. Looks like the GDI couldn't recover all the data from the Tacitus yet. The Tacitus is like an oversized USB stick and contains a lot of unsorted formula and data which needs to get sorted and or translated. The GDI increased their power to a new peak level. They expanded their space program, which brings up more ion cannon satellites, orbital EMP weapons, and 2 more space stations named Phoenix and Memphis. The Phoenix is a special ops training station and the Memphis is a big greenhouse surrounded by a habitat ring that houses 5% of the human population under GDI protection, including families of important GDI members. And the Brotherhood? Well, the Firestorm crisis left Nod exhausted and fragmented as the smaller outposts were hit by Cabal, who had accurate intel on Nod activities. He knew where all of Nod's bases were, what their function was, and how to best attack them. Cabal tapped into Nod's communication network before his main core was destroyed. He released a virus that later disrupted any of Nod's Tacitus-related devices, causing what was left from the Brotherhood's technology of peace to malfunction. Banges literally fell off the skies and stealth tanks and generators uncloaked and shut down or the generators overload. It was a big disaster for the Brotherhood of Nod. The stalemate between GDI and Nod was quickly broken by GDI a few months after the crippling of Cabal. The Black Hand was destroyed, Nod was cast down for the 3rd time in history and divided into several splintered groups, and Cain was still chilling in his water tube.
This is fine.
The year 2031 isn't a very good year for the Earth. The ongoing conflict on the one side and the heavily spreading Tiberium crystals on the other side aren't the best base for a healthy planet. The construction of super cities has already begun, but they are unpopular, complicated and well behind the schedule. And the Brotherhood is fragmented and remains without a leader. A few of the larger cells have stood their ground in Southern Europe and North Africa, where they often absorb local militia in their efforts to stay alive. GDI is working around the clock to put into practice any information it has about Tiberium. The Forgotten still want their freedom and to be left alone, existing now as a loose federation of clans and communes in the wastelands that GDI deems uninhabitable. The story around the Tiberian Odyssey sounds great, except that the Noddies got their ass kicked again. The biggest difference to the vanilla Tiberian Sun is that the mod team replaced or edited most graphics and sound effects of the original game. A lot of new buildings, animations and units are fitting good to the story of Tiberian Odyssey. Unbelievable how much details and graphical updates are possible in this old engine. I personally like the updated graphics very well. They are looking futuristic and techy. But that is not the only thing the mod team has changed. Yes, technically it is still a Tiberian Sun mod, but the mod also became to an official test center for the engine bug fix extension named Vinifera. Is Vinifera the reason why Tiberian Odyssey isn't released yet? Well, yes and no. Developing Vinifera with Tiberian Odyssey has the advantage that the mod is using or trying to use features which are not available in the original game, like naval combat. Sure, several mods are using ships, but they are all using the same rules, hacks and workarounds, and they all have the same problem with it. Winifera will give the mod teams the possibilities to add ships like they are added in Red Alert 2, and not with a War Factory workaround which blocks the build queue for tanks when the player builds up a naval unit. Also, pathfinding on water is currently not optimal in Tiberian Sun. But back to the Tiberian Odyssey. There are several new units for both factions, including water units, which using the typical Command and Conquer rock, paper, scissors formula, but in a stronger way than the original game. So, it's much more important to mix up your army with several units to prevent losing your troops. Some units aren't balanced yet, but the game itself is very stable and is looking damn good. Also, the new Tiberian crystals, cliffs, grass, the desert environment, the roads. Okay, the roads are still the old one, but the bridges are new. The team did a really well job updating the assets. I know I already said that, but damn, this is looking nice. The only question now left is, when will the Tiberian Odyssey be released? I mean, the graphics are more or less complete. Every unit has a voiceover and the sidebar got auto polished. The main thing which is missing is single player content and time. I know, the mod is in development since 2008 or something like that. But in that time, the mod development moved and got burned down from several engine extensions and got finally paused, or better said, abandoned in 2016 and got revealed in 2020. But the team around CC Hyper, Aurak and other well-known Command & Conquer community members are highly motivated and they hope they can release a public version soon. There are currently some bets running which one gets released earlier, Tiberian Odyssey or a Tiberian Sun remaster. We will see. Currently the odds are better for Tiberian Odyssey. What is your bet? Write it down in the comments, I would love to read it. But let's talk about the units from the Brotherhood. The Tiberian Sun classics, like the attack buggy, tick tank, bike, artillery and the Devil's Tongue are still available. But with a complete new voxel model and Tiberian Sun players will directly find the units they are already knowing. Sure, the stats are changed, the voxel model too, but the first gameplay will not start in total confusion. Not also reactivated the flamethrower guys from Tiberian Dawn, which are very useful against Jedi Grenadiers. The only thing which is new is the super weapon. Nod is not bombing from the underground. Maybe they found out that throwing nuclear weapons isn't a good idea. And the GDI? Well, we talked about their gained power after destroying the Brotherhood again. But it looks like they have a big sponsor. The basic units are more or less the same as in Tiberian Sun. The devs only changed the name, voxels and some stats, but like with the weaponry of the Brotherhood, common Tiberian Sun or Command & Conquer players general will not have any confusion or any surprise here. But some things are different. Okay, the ion cannon is still there. But we also have now drop pod reinforcements and an EMP cannon. And do you remember the tiny sweet little Mammoth Mark II from the Tiberian Sun? The GDI research just said, fuck it, and recreated something bigger, a much more expensive walker with a fucking big railgun and rockets. So high tech and big, local weapon factories can't build up this walker. GDI decided to build that fucker directly in one of their space stations and voila, you get it delivered directly from the sky. You just see fall down a giant egg and then your package got delivered. Thanks GDI, I will give you a 5-star rating. Amazon would love to deliver their stuff like that. And before you ask, no, you can't send it directly to the enemy base. It has to be delivered next to your own base. New aircraft on both sides and naval units are the cherry on the cake to have varied battles between the Brotherhood and the GDI. What's my opinion about the Tiberian Odyssey? Well, at first, it is really amazing what things are possible in this old engine. I mean, Tiberian Sun got released in 1999. And I'm sure the devs of Westwood are still proud about that Command & Conquer still has this loyal community, which take care about the games and creating stuff for and patching it to keep the games running on newer systems. I really like the new graphics, models, effects and the new music. It fits really good to the atmosphere of a Tiberium infested world. Some sounds are still not perfect. Also some units and weapons are unbalanced, but I'm sure that will be fixed for a hopefully soon public release. My personal disadvantage is the sidebar. I mean, it's looking good, but I'm not a fan of the old sidebar without tabs, where you have to search around and find the stuff you want to build. That's not the problem of a mod, it's a problem of the main game. I hope we will get a public release soon. I'm sure the devs having some cool ideas for campaign, and I know there are a lot of people there can't wait to play it. If you want more information about the ModDB page is full with articles and the team frequently showing new stuff on the Discord server. Check out the description below, all the links on the Discord servers are there. My name is Mark, thank you so much for watching, but for now...
Battle control offline.